fast-tracking investment and construction projects for the 14th Party Congress.
Ukraine and the U.S. outline a $1 trillion reconstruction roadmap.
Iran says it is ready to respond to any threats.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news by Nghe An Press and Broadcasting Agency. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first step of the show. Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính had decided an official dispatch calling for continued efforts to strengthen management efficiency and accelerate the completion of investment and construction projects in celebration of 14th National Party Congress.
Accordingly, the Prime Minister has instructed ministers, heads of ministerial level and government-affiliated agencies, and chairpersons of provincial and centrally governed municipal people's committees to direct investors, project management units, contractors, and relevant stakeholders to mobilize all available resources to complete and put projects into operation before the 14th National Party Congress, expected to begin on January 19, 2026. For projects currently under implementation, investors and contractors are required to develop appropriate and scientific construction plans, strengthen manpower, machinery, and equipment, and accelerate construction progress with the aim of shortening timelines by 3 to 6 months. At the same time, strict control over total investment must be maintained, with zero tolerance for losses, waste, or negative practices.
Amid an ongoing conflict, Kiev and Washington are advancing the Prosperity Roadmap 2040, laying the groundwork for economic recovery, attracting global investment, and ensuring long-term security for Ukraine.
One of the most critical components of the roadmap is the identification of financial needs for post-war reconstruction. According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine is estimated to require around USD 800 billion for a full recovery. A key feature of the roadmap is the establishment of a range of diversified financial instruments designed to attract and manage investment flows. These include the Ukraine Reconstruction Fund, the Ukraine Development Fund, Ukraine's Sovereign Investment Platform, the Ukraine Growth and Opportunity Fund, and notably, a dedicated U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. Under the current agreement, the U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund has already been established, with revenues from new mineral extraction licenses to be shared on a 50-50 basis. A distinctive aspect of this model is that future U.S. military assistance may be counted as part of Washington's contribution to the Joint Investment Fund.
On January 2nd, Iran's defense minister said the country is ready to launch decisive and forceful retaliatory strikes against any external threats targeting Iran.
Iran's defense minister, Brigadier General Aziz Nasserzadeh, stated that Iran's missile capabilities are indestructible, whether by military force or through negotiations. He stressed that the country's missile program cannot be rolled back by international pressure, nor weakened by resolutions adopted by nations with only a few hundred years of history. According to Minister Nasserzadeh, Iran is prepared to respond decisively and without restraint to any direct threats against Tehran. His warning comes amid growing speculation that the United States and Israel may continue military strikes on Iran to prevent the Islamic Republic from developing nuclear weapons and expanding its ballistic missile program. Earlier, on January 2nd, U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Washington is ready to intervene if Iranian authorities use force to suppress ongoing domestic protests.
Upcoming are some updated news.
The 2021-2025 period marks a significant transition in Nghệ An's economic development, with stable growth maintained, a positive shift in the economic structure, and gradual improvements in growth quality. According to assessments, Nghệ An's average GRDP growth rate during 2021-2025 is estimated at around 7.45% per year, higher than in the previous period. The size of the provincial economy has expanded substantially, with total GRDP increasing by about 1.7 times compared to 2020, while per capita income has surpassed VND 67 million. The economic structure has continued to shift towards industrialization and modernization, with industry construction and services accounting for more than 79% of GRDP. Labor productivity has risen by an average of over 8% per year, and the contribution of total factor productivity to growth has reached around 40%, reflecting a steady improvement in the quality of economic growth.
Gold prices today, at the opening of the January 3rd trading session, remained flat compared to the previous session. SJC gold bars were quoted by businesses at VND 150.8, 152.8 million per tile, while global gold prices recorded only minor fluctuations. Saigon Jewelry Company, SJC, listed gold at VND 150.8 million per tael for buying and VND 152.8 million per tael for selling, unchanged on both sides from the previous close. The buying-selling spread for SJC gold was maintained at VND 2 million per tael. At the same time, gold prices at Doji Group were also quoted at VND 150.8, 152.8 million per tael, buying-selling, remaining stable compared to the previous trading session. Based on Vietcombank's exchange rate on the morning of January 3rd, global gold prices were equivalent to approximately VND $137.6 million per tael, about VND 15.2 million per tael, lower than the domestic SJC selling price.
Vietnam U23 enter the 2026 AFC U23 Asian Cup Finals with high expectations. Vietnam U23, along with 6 other teams, Jordan, Japan, Iran, Qatar, South Korea, and Syria, were the only sides to record 3 wins from 3 matches in the qualifiers. Vietnam U23 secured their place at the finals after defeating Bangladesh U23, Singapore U23, and Yemen U23. Notably, Vietnam U23 were among the few teams to keep a clean sheet throughout the qualifying stage, alongside South Korea U23 and Australia U23. The Asian Football Confederation assessed that Vietnam U23 will pose a serious challenge to any team they face at the upcoming tournament. With no team from South Asia having ever won the title, Vietnam U23, together with Thailand U23, are seen as potential contenders capable of making history at the 2026 AFC U23 Asian Cup.
Large-scale projects, the growing presence of technology companies, and a shift from quantity to quality in industrial development have helped increase the share of the manufacturing and processing sector in Nghệ An in 2025. More in this story today.
In 2025, Nghệ An's Industrial Production Index, IIP, is estimated to rise by 17%. With the manufacturing and processing sector growing by 14%. Key industries such as agricultural processing, electronic component manufacturing, textiles, and footwear all recorded strong growth. Notably, continued inflows of domestic and foreign investment into manufacturing and processing have further enhanced the province's production capacity.
Today, competition is no longer limited to Vietnamese businesses, it is global. Therefore, investing in modern technology is inevitable if enterprises do not want to be left behind.
Technology helps elevate the position of both businesses and the province when products from Nghệ An meet international standards. This not only enables market expansion, but also strengthens brand value.
However, despite robust growth in 2025, Nghệ An's manufacturing and processing sector continues to face multiple challenges, including shortages of raw materials, a lack of highly skilled technical labor, increasingly stringent international standards, and intensifying competition from emerging markets.
The company proposes that authorities and relevant agencies provide support not only to our business but to others as well. Technology transfer, access to capital, and market connectivity, both domestically and internationally, are critically important.
Nghe An needs to demonstrate stronger political determination to improve the competitive and investment environment, enhance technological innovation capacity, reform the education and training system, and increase coordinated capital investment in infrastructure, as well as in industrial and agricultural development.
To ensure that the manufacturing and processing industry truly becomes a sustainable driving force for Nghệ An's industrial development, the province needs to implement comprehensive and decisive solutions, especially as it moves into 2026 and beyond, when demands for green growth, digital transformation, and international standards are becoming increasingly stringent.
The last story just ended our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.